If you've ever wondered whether your oddly specific obsession could become a real product, this one's for you. Margaret C Beeler took two things she loves, books and cocktails, and created Tropetails, the world's first cocktail and mocktail recipe book based on literary tropes. After a successful crowdfunding project, Margaret now has a full product line as well, so there's more to come. Today we unpack how she did it, what worked and what didn't, and what you can steal for your own business. And now, here's Margaret C Beeler. Hello, Margaret. It is lovely to have you on the Joe Show. I'm very excited for this episode and just to learn a little bit about how you've taken your weird obsession and made it your business, and then how you've done that through Kickstarter, etc. So we'll get right into it.
Yes.
I want to ask you what the origin story of Tropetails is. You know, when did you, like, book tropes and drinks become a thing in your head? Let's just go right to it.
I mean, that became, it's interesting. It was a culmination of a lot of different things over the years. I'd always loved reading. I have kind of always been interested in like unique drinks. And I was kind of like thinking one day, this was back in 23. So 2 years ago, I came up with the idea on the drive back from Chicago. I live in Cincinnati right now, but my family is from Chicago. So I drive back and forth there all the time. And sometimes when I'm driving, I just like turn off the music and I just like think. It's really weird.
Shocking.
But I had this idea when I was driving. I was like, oh my God, like, let's combine the reading and the drinking. And I kind of was like, okay, what would that look like? And at first I started thinking like, okay, well, maybe I'll just start like making cocktails based off of like popular franchises and like doing it that way. But then I was like, no, that wouldn't work because it's like all the licensing and all that stuff. Then I was like, there's all these tropes in different books because as a writer, I'm very familiar with tropes. Tropes are popular themes in books and fiction. So there's like, enemies to lovers, there's morally gray, there's, millionaire, there's stranded, cliffhanger, like all of them. There's so many. There's like hundreds of tropes. And I mean, they're in movies and they're pretty much everywhere in life too. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to make drinks based off of tropes. And then I came up with this like, at first I forget what it was called initially. I had all these different names for what I wanted to call them. But then I was like, Tropetails. And then I was just like, that makes the most sense. Like, let's do it. And then I started just putting this book together. And last year in spring of 2024, I launched it on Kickstarter. And it was my first 5-figure campaign on the platform. It did really well. And the brand has been doing very well ever since. So yeah, it just kind of like came out of just like a passion for books and drinking. I guess I hung out with this guy a couple weeks ago and he's like, you're the only one in the world I know that can say, like, to answer the question, what do you do? Booze and books. And I was like, yeah.
There's a career objective. I love it.
Yeah. It's like, find your passions and grow on the passions, I guess.
It's fantastic. Tell me a little bit about how you ran the Kickstarter campaign. Obviously, a lot of people run them, some better than others, but you, from what I can tell, are a bit of a serial Kickstarter queen. So let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, I've ran 5 Kickstarters now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the comic, short story. Yeah, I've run 5 Kickstarters. I personally love Kickstarter. I started on Kickstarter in 2023, and it's been amazing. It's a very unique platform, and I think there's a lot of things that go into running a Kickstarter that a lot of people don't necessarily think about. Kickstarter is not a GoFundMe, which, contrary to popular belief, it is not a fundraising platform. I mean, in its core it is, but it is actually a storefront, and a lot of people will not look at it in that way, and I think that's kind of where they fall a little short of their goal, maybe, because it's the same situation as Amazon. It is a storefront. You're exchanging money in exchange for a good, and it has to be set up that way or it's not going to succeed. And Kickstarter is also a very heavy community-based platform. So you're not
Mm,
just it's not like Amazon. You are actually building relationships with these people. You're creating an experience, and that experience just happens to last 2 weeks versus an eternity of it being for sale. And it's usually something that is special or unique that's only available on the platform during that time. And I mean, there's just so much science that goes into running a Kickstarter. I actually have
yes.
done a couple different presentations at conferences on the science of running a Kickstarter just because there's so much
Yeah, yeah.
that goes into it that you have to understand before you run it, or else you will probably, fall short of the goal. But I mean, just like kind of like thinking about it from just like surface level viewpoint, it's a very community based platform. You're not just going on there and asking people for money. You have to build a presence on the platform, support other people on the platform, connect with the backers that are supporting you. And then you also have to think about it not like a GoFundMe, it's a storefront. You're exchanging money for a good. So that's why a lot of people, I'm going to go on I will go on tangents, but like you have to have like a physical product. It's very hard to
Yes.
run campaigns for like, you know, in the author space, for example, audiobooks don't do as well because you're not getting a physical thing. It's like,
Mm.
you know, but that's a whole wormhole. But yeah, I love Kickstarter. I've run 5 Kickstarters. I've done over 30K in 2 years on Kickstarter alone and just built like an incredible, very strong fan base there that is like my core community. And I will continue to use it because it has been phenomenal to connect with my consumers on there.
Congratulations, that is excellent. I guess it's like a
Thank
launch
you.
special in a way, like bundling. I saw on
Yeah.
your site that or Instagram, I think, for your Kickstarter, you had a different cover and free gifts coming out for anyone who
Oh,
bought the
yeah.
book at the
Yep, yep,
beginning,
yep, yep.
mystery
Yeah.
gifts. So that's fun. And
Yes.
yeah, it's so great just to hear that it goes so well. And the energy of what you do, it's so inspiring. Like, I love that you've got the mixes coming out as well, that it's led to more products. And
Yeah.
I was lying awake in bed the other night thinking, you've got to launch a board game.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
And,
there's so many
romance is
things
only
in my
kind of board game. I thought she's got to do
right?
it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know. Yeah, because the powder mixes just came to existence a thought of this year. So that was back in January. I had the idea for those, and that was kind of a whole movement in its own. Not to go on another tangent. I
I'll
mean,
go on the tangents.
but there's a huge kind of push in the creative space, at least like in the author space right now, trying to figure out how to really diversify your portfolio beyond just a book because a book, the average order value is maybe $30.
Exactly.
And, there's no repeatability in a in a book. People
Oh, for
buy
running paid ads, if it's less than 150 average order value,
Mhm.
it's hard work. I tell people, no, we've got
Exactly.
to bundle something.
Yes, 100%. And it's like you want them to come back then again. It's like
Yeah,
the whole goal is like you should not be selling a product. I mean, you can't. Sorry, you can, but like
you can.
in your mind, you should be like, how can I get them to come back? Like a
Yes.
good business has has people coming back and buying more and more. I mean, you think about like
Hmm.
all the products you use, like you're buying more, like you're buying a new iPhone, you're buying a new what, like all these things, you're buying more
Hmm.
inevitably. And with books, that's just not really a thing. I mean, yes, you have the series, but like once you're done with the series, what else is there? You can keep pumping out more books, but the average order value is still max $30.
$30. Yes,
So
exactly.
I had a conversation with my friend back in January and it was like, okay, like we were kind of both coming to this at the same point. We were both like, all right, publishing as a business is a little broken. Like how do we create repeatability and increase order value at the same time? And the answer wasn't with books. It was with different products that also create this branch off of the core audience as well in a way. So it's like
Hmm.
the core product is the book, but you're bringing in new people to the brand with this thing, powder mixes. And also, it has the aspect of repeatability and an increased order value because the book is $30. The powders are $30. Now you have $60. That's a lot more
Yes.
powerful than the thing. And then they come back and get more of the powder mixes. So it's like an infinite repeatability, theoretically, if they like it.
It's so refreshing to hear you as an author speak this way. I used
Yeah.
to edit books for people. I've had people come to me wanting me to market their book, and I've said no, exactly for
Yeah.
those reasons. I would
Yep.
love to. I'm the
Mhm.
ultimate bookworm.
Mhm.
But I love that you've had the initiative to spin it off and into something really fun that, yeah, it keeps people coming back, builds the order value, and actually turns that
Right.
weird obsession into a real business. And
Right.
the freedom that that brings for you to be able to run your own business instead of just having to stack shelves in a supermarket and write novels at night is fantastic. So,
Mhm.
more of that, please.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, it also because I have fantasy books as well, and it's not just, the tie-in for the recipe books, it's with that too. So it's like building the brand and like this whole sphere. It just kind of was like a moment where I was like, oh my God, like this is the thing. Like this is it. And it has been it. And I don't even like, mind you, I don't even have the product yet. Like I've been doing
Irrelevant.
all these things, which is crazy to think about. It's like I'm working on deals right now with people to do these collaborations and selling these powders. I don't even have them yet. So it's like I know the idea is great, and I mean a bunch of thought went into the powders in general. I did like validation testing and all that stuff like way back when, but
Yes.
it's cool to see it come together and like kind of be full circle around the brand. So
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. Well, how do you, I guess, the process of creating a product, coming up with the idea, how
hmm
do you think about that?
like in general or with the powders.
Let's go with the powders if you're open
Okay.
to doing that, just because it is
Yeah.
something
I
that's
mean,
real.
so yeah, I mean, I can just go back to January of this year. It was, me and my friend sitting in my apartment kitchen right here, not this tropical background beach place that's in my Zoom screen. I know viewers probably can't see the Zoom screen I have right now, but anyway.
Oh, they will on YouTube. It's fine.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. Um, it goes back to me and my friend sitting in my kitchen in my apartment being like, all right, you know, we were just kind of like brainstorming. This is like also another thing. I just love, like, bringing minds together. It's like you get 2
Yes.
really bright minds in the room, and it's like, holy crap, the infinite possibilities just appear randomly. It's so cool. But we were just talking about the brand and talking about kind of what I was saying to you before is, like, how do we, like, fix this broken publishing business? Um, and, we were looking at my brand, and it was kind of like, okay, well, theoretically, if we were gonna go beyond the book, which creators have been doing this for years. I mean, you look at like artists, like singers, like Ariana Grande, perfume, Beyonce, makeup, all that stuff. People have been doing this for years. Why aren't authors doing this? And we're looking at my business, and it's like, okay, well, you have these cocktail recipe books. You know, we could create our own liquor or we could create our own seltzer. But then it's like, okay, well, it was a fun idea at first, but, then you think about like, how much does it cost to produce that? How much does it cost to ship that? Those are expensive. And then we were just like throwing ideas around. And then the idea of like, well, what about like a powder thing? You put it in water and it's like an instant cocktail. And I was just like, oh my God, like that's like, yes, like this
It's
is it.
very smart when you think of shipping and
Yeah.
packaging.
Yeah. Cause
And
I was thinking initially in my head, I was like, okay, well, I could just create like, let me just do like a canned cocktail, like instant cocktail, like in a can. And then I was like, wait, no, like shipping that is like gonna be so much. Like it's
crazy.
heavy.
Yes.
And then you're shipping liquid and that's like,
Yeah.
the whole whatever regulations with
Customs
that.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was initially like going to be in cans, like instant cocktails. You just crack it open and it's like a thing and it was gonna have liquor in it and it was gonna be instant, whatever. But then I started thinking more about it and I was like, not the best idea because of A, liquid, B, weight, and also like liquor, shipping liquor. Not, that doesn't work really easily. So then I started thinking about these powders and I just couldn't shake the idea. And I literally was thinking about it all night one night, and I just, like, woke up in the morning and I was like, "I'm gonna do this." I don't know how. I had never done anything beyond, like, publishing a book, and, like, with anything new, you're not gonna know anything in the beginning, so it's like, okay, where do you start?
Exactly.
So I just started, like, looking stuff up online, and it was kinda crazy. Looking back at these emails, I had no idea what I was talking about when I was reaching out to these manufacturers and doing research and being like, "How do you even make a powder? Like, how do I like, who do I even contact for this? Like, what am I doing? I don't know." So I'm, like, emailing all these, like, manufacturers. I probably emailed, like, 100 of them, just trying to, like, understand, like, how do you do this? Like, how do you even, like I'm, like, contacting people who already make powders and have their own brand and being like, "Hey," they don't wanna talk to you about it because 'cause you're their competitor, but I learned that, that's fine, it's okay. I figured it out anyway, like, I didn't need to. But, yeah, they were not very helpful. But, yeah, I just started, like, reaching out to people and, like, asking questions and, like, like, trying to figure out, like, feasibility, like, is this a thing? And I'm very stubborn, so I was like, "I'm gonna figure it out, I don't care." Um, Initially, I was gonna do 50 different flavors for every single cocktail in my recipe book.
I love that.
It did not pan out.
Damn.
That was like but you learn, that's how you learn though, like, it's like, I went in, like, headstrong, I was like, "I wanna do 50 flavors, I wanna do 1 for every cocktail in my book," and then, like, one manufacturer was, like, so real with me, they're like, "Dude, do you even know, like, what the minimum order quantities for these things are?" And I was like, "No, but I'm gonna make it happen, I don't care,"
How
and they
much
were like,
room is in your garage?
I know, and I was like I honestly am so glad that I had someone say that to me because I was like, "Okay, that's a great idea," like, I'm gonna just start with 3 flavors, like 3 flagship things, and then, we'll go from there. Like, you don't need to start with 50 flavors is outrageous. Like, looking back on that, that would have been crazy. But, like,
Yes. Part of me wants to say, be outrageous. Just be
I
outrageous.
know,
But
but,
yes.
maybe one day we'll get to the 50 flavors. But, yeah, I started it just you have to start somewhere, and then, like, you know, I like to say the difference between idea and reality is action, and, like, I had this idea, and I took action on, like, trying to figure out, like, how to do it, and now it's becoming a reality, and it all started with just asking questions and, like, trying to figure things out and just, like, stalking people on LinkedIn and, like, emailing them and just yeah, and I ended up going through a whole failed partnership with a manufacturer as well, which is a whole learning experience in itself, and looking back on that, I'm like, "Holy crap, thank God it didn't work out because like, now I'm at where I am, and it's just, everything adds up, and yeah, it was a whole journey, but it really started with just, like, having this idea and sitting down and taking the action and just reaching out to people, and, like, I think there's no greater time to be a creator or an innovator than now because pretty much every single door in the world is open or can be opened with a knock because like I am no exception. You can reach out to any manufacturer and be like, "Hey, can I do this?" They say no. Okay, reach out to another one. And like there's bazillion like there's so many possibilities to do things now and it's like I just think it's not I mean, it is hard, but I think a lot of people doubt themselves, and it's like they can't get past the idea thing to move to, like, the taking action thing, and it's like you won't know until you start to take action, and you kinda just have to be a little crazy about it. It's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this thing,"
How refreshing.
and then do it.
In this age where they say everybody's and refreshing, yes, pun intended. How everybody says, "Oh my goodness, creators are going to be irrelevant and AI is going to take over."
No.
And here's Margaret C Beeler just going for it.
Yeah, well, you just, like that stuff can paralyze you, but you can
It
also, like,
can.
use it to your advantage too, like,
And think of what
like
we would have missed out on. Like when I see the description on your site of what Tropetails is you've finished a book that you love, you don't want it to end. Now every person who loves a good book knows that feeling.
yeah.
And now it doesn't have to end because you can get Tropetails and mix up the vibe and just
Exactly.
keep it alive. It's great.
I love it. Yeah,
What
it's been so fun.
have you had any feedback from early testing from, any sort of stories of customers that just love it that you could share?
Yeah, so I actually back in April, I I applied to I don't even have the product, mind you. Like, this is, like, 3 months into me, like, coming up with this idea because I came up with the idea end of January, so, like, January, February, March, April, like, 4 months into the year, I, like, see that there's
Still
this.
didn't have it.
No, I literally, like, had, like, a bag of powder from my manufacturer. I was like, "Let's go." Like,
Yeah.
we're in this game.
It sounds pretty wild, doesn't
Happen.
it? I had a bag of powder.
Yeah, it was, like, unmarked, unlabeled, it was literally a gray bag of powder. Like, I had 3 gray bags of powders for my 3 flavors that I launched, and I saw that there was this local, like, food and commodities show in Cincinnati for wholesalers and retailers. Like, there was just a bunch of, like, they had this in, like, a big like, a big room, and they had all these different, like, food vendors, and they had, reps from, like, Meijer, Target, Kroger, all in there coming around to, like, look at, like, food things to buy, and I, like, reached out to the people who were running the show, and I was like, "Hey, I
Hey,
don't have the product yet, but I'm going to, and, like, I will do anything to be at this show and, like, just give out samples to people to try and, like, get feedback from them." And they responded to my email and were like, "Hey, yeah, like, come and, like, we'll have you pop up at the happy hour and you can just give samples to people."
fantastic.
So, that also, like, is a huge thing I love talking about because it's like, you will never know until you ask. Like, I didn't
Exactly.
even
Yeah.
have a product. I had no experience going to a food and commodity show. I was just like, "Fuck it, we're gonna do it." Also, sorry, I don't know if I can swear on here. But I
You
just, like,
can, I
reached
don't
out to
mind.
him
Yes.
reached out to them and was like, "Can I just show up and, like, just sample whatever?" So I got to go to this big trade show in Cincinnati, which is a very huge F&C place. F&C is food and commodity. Um, P&G is headquartered here. It's a big place to be
Impressive.
for food producers. So yeah, I popped up at this event and, put up a table and literally just had, like, these tiny little, like, cups and then put the thing in there and, like, had people try them, and I got some, like, really good feedback, and everyone liked it, so I was like, "Okay, good. The formulation is good. We're going for it." And I did that, and I've, you know, been sampling throughout the year, but that was pretty much my big, like, pat on the back because it was a bunch of people that I did not know. So yeah, I've been sampling and doing that all year and just kinda, like, getting myself out there and getting feedback from customers. So, yeah.
I'm even seeing this as an awesome, if companies want to get to know their employees properly and encourage them to do a great job. I edited a book once called I Am the Problem by Susie Johnston, who she coaches national executives and basically letting them know that their energy is what flows through the company, and that if they
Mhm.
just take the time to know what motivates each of their employees, they're going to get a lot better results out of them. If somebody wants to buy
Yeah.
the fancy pair of shoes, well, how is what they're doing now going to get them to their goal? And I could just see, for any bookworm employees, for employers to send them your gift as a thank you or a
Yeah,
Christmas.
there you go.
Talk
I
about a
will
way to
gladly
somebody's heart.
Yes, I will gladly give any large company a wholesale discount if they would like to buy a book. I will say that.
I love it. You've even got coloring books for adults. I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
fantastic fun.
Yeah, I've got it all. I actually, the coloring book was funny. It was really just listening to my audience. I mean, that's how the powders became a thing too, is listening to my audience in addition to the beyond the book thing. Um, my audience was like, "I wanna do a coloring, but, like, can I, like, get a black and white image of these, like, cute tropes?" And I was like, "I'll give you a whole coloring book. How about that?" If your audience asks you for something, you should 100,000% listen to them because that's
Absolutely.
who you're serving. And that's part of where the powder mixes came from as well, because they were subtly telling me they wanted, you know, accessibility and also, like, just ease of use, which is exactly the same thing as accessibility.
Mm,
But also they didn't want to house all these different ingredients in their apartments and stuff. So they were basically telling
yes.
me they wanted instant cocktails. So
Hmm.
listen to the people.
I think instant cocktail has got to be a winner in any market.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Without the
we are in such an era where we're like, I want things easy. Like, I don't want to, like, a novelty to make a cocktail. It takes time and money. It is you know, you have to have all these different ingredients, and they're
Can you travel
mostly
with it without getting in any problems in your suitcase?
the powder mixes.
Yeah.
That's funny. I was actually going to Vegas a couple weeks ago, and I brought the powders with me because I had a fantasy ball request to have my powders there, and they didn't fit in the suitcase in my check-in, so I had to carry them through the TSA, and they stopped me and bomb swabbed me like 5 times, and I was like, "You could just, you know, like, you know, lick your finger and put it in there and just taste it. I promise you it is not a drug or a bomb. Like, I swear to God." And they let me go. They were like, "Yep, you're good. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Yeah, that's funny." But,
I'm thinking it's a handy way to travel, to pop one in your bag, and when you get to
oh,
your hotel room,
yeah.
just add water
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh my
It's
god,
like,
yeah, like, that's, like, the whole appeal of it. It's like, you know, it comes in, like, a little, like, 10-ounce bag, which is maybe, like, you know, the size of, like, a standard coffee bag, maybe, like, this big.
yeah,
You just shove that in your purse or your, you know, whatever, your suitcase, and then you don't have to buy all the drinks.
smile sweetly at TSA and swan on through.
Exactly. Well, once it's in its, like, branded bags, I think it'll look a little, like,
It'll
less
help.
suspicious, but, like, walking through TSA with a bunch of unbranded silver bags does look suspicious, I will say.
Now, as well as Tropetails, you previously you already have young adult fiction that's doing well. Do they tie into each other at all, or are they completely separate markets? How does that work?
I would say they kind of tie into each other because I did, you know, the Tropetails stuff has tropes that are found in my book.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
Mm-hmm.
people can make those drinks while they're reading my fantasy books. And then I also now have the Tropetails fantasy instant cheers mix that I will be bundling with my book. Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like the fantasy books kind of stand alone as like their own brand. Those are more geared towards, like, younger teens or, like, honestly, my reader ages for those books are, like, teens and then, like,
So we
mid-20s.
shouldn't be encouraging them into Tropetails just yet.
Yeah, I mean, they can do the mocktails. I mean, they are technically
It
the
can be
powder mixes
aspirational
are
when they grow
technically
up.
mocktail. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
mocktails.
yeah, they could yeah, but I mean, yeah, the fantasy books are pretty standalone, but there is tie-in. I will be bundling them together for sure.
Yeah. So for business owners listening who might have a niche, slightly weird idea, what would you say to them?
Do it. I mean, niche is how you win, actually. It's niching down on a small audience is literally how you win in today's society and becoming a monopoly in that niche. Like, I will be
Exactly.
dominating. I am the bookworm entertainment epicenter. There is no one else that will be doing this other than me. Like, I will own this space, and that's how you win in this competitive marketplace. Is like you find your niche, and then you own the niche. There's a
Bookworm
guy out there
entertainment epicenter. Who would have thought of
yeah.
that?
Yeah, I mean, I will become like I will be am the person that people will come to for drinks, for their books. That's it.
Yes.
You know, you find your niche and then you double down on it. That's period. I
I
know a
love it.
guy who does he created horror letters. No one else is doing that. That is his thing. Like that's how you win in a space is finding a very small niche, capitalizing on it. Because people love niche stuff. They
It's
like to know
true.
they like to think that they're, like, buying into something unique, you know, they're not just going to, you know, Starbucks, they're going to, like, the coffee shop on the block that no one's ever heard of that's, like, serving this, like, really weird, unique drink that only they do. It's like, that's gold.
Yeah, you want to feel that you've discovered something and that it's special, and that it's just a delicious feeling, isn't it? I mean, Seth Godin says find the smallest possible audience, which is so
Yes. Oh, I love that.
counterintuitive to
Yeah,
what
that's
most
Seth's
people,
quote.
it is. And I find myself quoting Seth often because he's, a smart guy.
Yes,
But finding the
yes,
smallest possible audience naturally gives you that quirky niche, and then you find 100 people maybe who love it.
yes,
There is always going to be someone like you
yes,
who likes those same things.
yes.
But then, yeah, it lets you build your business in an authentic way, which I find so important. To even Kim in episode 1, Kim Guselli from Botanical Skincare Lab, we talked about how she's building her business to suit herself. And
Yep.
to me, that's what gives you the delight to keep going.
Yep.
It's what lets you be unique, as you say. You know, you're the books and entertainment epicenter. People will come to you for their fiction themed drinks.
Yep.
Who would have thunk it? Like, that's fabulous. It's fun.
Yeah.
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 What if you tell people about your idea? Is there anything that comes to mind of the most, you know, you've got to be joking kind of reaction that you've had?
What can you reword the question? I'm trying to think.
So the most, you know, you've got to be joking kind of reaction. Has there been that, or
When I tell them that I do
or
cocktails.
when you were sort of telling people about the idea for Tropetails originally, or did they
Yeah,
just
I
love
mean,
it?
I feel like I don't know if I've necessarily had, I mean, other than like when I was going into like the powder space, I had a lot of manufacturers laugh me off and be like, good luck like doing this. Like, you know, that was like kind of like what the failed partnership was. It was like they did not have faith that it was going to work out, so they stepped away. And I was like,
Ah,
I'm gonna prove you wrong. Like, watch me. Wait a
I
couple
like
months. And now I'm like, hey, I hope they
that.
see it. I hope they look at my Instagram and see it. I mean, not to be that person, but it kind of have to be a little bit. It's
A
like,
little bit of cheeky revenge is a good thing, I think.
yeah, I think so. It's like, I mean, it gives me the motivation to keep going. If I mean, the second someone starts to doubt you, I'm like, well, I'm gonna do it. Like, that gives me the motivation. But that's really been the only kind of thing I think, for the most part. I think the brand has kind of done well and hasn't really received any sort of like, oh, what the heck is this? You know, it's more like, oh, what the heck is this? In like a, oh, I need to know, like I want to participate in like whatever this is.
I love it. What
Luckily.
when you think about making like a creative product, a quirky, obsessive thing, what is a belief you think a lot of people might have about that that is just completely wrong?
That it's not gonna do well. Like that it's too niche, but it's like the opposite. Like I was just saying before, it's like
Well said.
the niche
Yes,
is where you win.
you're living
Uh,
proof.
I think the weirder the idea is, the better it is, in my opinion. I think, I don't know, I just feel like the more weird, the better. Like, yeah. I'm
I
gonna go
love
with
it.
that.
So, I mean, I'm a bit of an AI nerd. I love what the possibilities of what is getting built,
Yes.
but at the same time, I see the gloomy side that people face. And honestly, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, just as a, you know, a creative person who is just powering ahead anyway, just zany and light and energetic and fun, and
Yeah.
let's have a good time and let's enjoy the things that we love that you're
Yeah.
doing it, I think is just fantastic and will just light up people's worlds, you know.
I
So
hope so.
for
That's the goal.
so for everybody listening to this episode, you've got to go and check out Margaret's Tropetails and try the cocktails. Why the hell not? You know, get into it, have some fun.
Yeah, add a little something extra in them, you know,
Yeah,
spice
yeah.
it
And
up
if
a
you'd like to
little
join my
bit.
campaign for a board game, then go right ahead and DM and pester her.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay. So I really appreciate your time today. Is there like any last wise words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the doors are open. You can literally do anything. Like if you think of an idea of something, there's going to be someone out there who can help you make that a reality. So no idea is too crazy to pursue. So I think, you know, like the powder mixes, it has only taken me less than a year to get here. So I think that anyone should be pursuing any idea with full force and block out the
Gusto.
haters.
I love it.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Margaret C. Beeler, I appreciate your time today. That was fantastic.
Yeah.